Our recent field trip to Morocco opened our eyes to the differences in gender contribution in tourism, an area that we had previously not studied. We went out there with a stereotypical Western mindset that developing countries suppress women with less opportunities in terms of education and jobs. However, our preconceptions are very much challenged by the different culture we experienced. Our group, Nikolai, Emma and Hazel, wanted to find out the real truth of gender's involvement in tourism and why it is like this. Before we went, we set out 3 key questions to help us. Firstly, to find out the local perceptions on the importance of gender equality in tourism development. Secondly, to observe the role and representation of gender in Morocco. And finally, to find out if the current gender contribution is equal in both rural and urban areas. Our data was collected throughout the entire trip, from urban areas such as Marrakesh through to rural areas we visited, including the Atlas Mountains and the Sahara Desert. Our research included observation of both genders' roles and interviews with various players in the tourism industry, such as tour guides, hotel owners and camera pilots.
Sharpley and Telfer explain how women's empowerment is one of the most desirable issues in Western concepts of development, which reinforces our interest in the issue of gender in tourism.
It was important that we looked into a range of theories to build our understanding of different views in literature on gender in relation to tourism. Many of these theories are both contradicted or proven true by our research in Morocco.
UNWTO argued there are several reasons tourism is especially suitable for economic development of LDCs. As suggested by the Millennium Development Goals, gender equality is an essential aspect towards achieving development. We witness how tourism has supported development in areas in Morocco. For example, the opportunities it provides the women in the cooperative to sell local crafts, and the infrastructure improvements and community empowerment IMLIL has received thanks to the Casbah de Toukbal.
While Sadiqi's idea of Western texts promote fixed images of Muslim women, presented as poor, illiterate, victimized and docile housewives, and rural women in Morocco are not socially empowering, is correct to some extent. For example, 80% of women in Imlin are illiterate. However, it is too general as does not consider the impact of projects such as Education for All that empower women and the wider impacts this has on the community. There are many benefits of projects like Education for All and Association Tifawin.
They are knitted and the followers, so they make them even for themselves and they sell them. So people living here, and then also for tourists who came and then they see, they learn about the association and then they can donate or they can buy or support or.
Since we are responsible, as we promised the girls and we want them to be with us in Education for All and help them to study, because the first question maybe these girls have, we will come and finish our study, is there a job or something like that? They say yes, maybe. Okay, if you don't have a job, at least you are literate and you know how to talk, you understand you understand programs in TV, you well educate your children, etc. But not all of them, he said, so they can work in their department in Marrakesh, or they can bring them here and work in the hotel or somewhere else in Marrakesh, like in a Riyadh, in a hotel, so they are going to work if they like to work.
There was evidence that locals understood and supported the need for empowering women.
The philosophy that if you educate a girl, you educate a nation. Okay? You fight illiteracy and she knows how to deal with their husbands and know how to read and then educate children and other things.
Although these projects are clearly benefiting from tourism, there is very little involvement or support from the government, despite their priority as indicated in their Vision 2020 strategy.
The government, for the Ministry of Tourism and things, they don't do any efforts to develop. They want money, they want to have currency, but they don't give anything. That's a big problem.
In Morocco, the contribution of women in tourism is limited by social constraints and their level of development. It is important to note that the lacking presence of women in tourist roles is a complex situation, with many reasons limiting their involvement based around differences in Moroccan social norms and cultural values. As suggested by Siddiqui, the pressures of social cultural values and traditions widely prevalent in Morocco mean few women continue with their studies and subsequently do not find work due to traditions of marriage. Abdul's explanation of their tradition here shows the difference between the Western and Moroccan perception of marriage and gender roles. The trip made us aware that these traditions are key factors in the different gender roles. Whilst we may view this strict lifestyle disempowering, it is in fact just their way of life.
Married can't work.
However, there is evidence of girls succeeding in higher education due to the support of the association and their families, but overall socio-cultural factors often mean many girls' opportunities are cut short.
So there are girls, as we have mentioned, who are talented and intelligent. So let's say if like 60% of girls here they start, studying. So 10% of them they finish school, okay, because they got backup and support from their family. They like to study, and they have one doctor, a girl from here that is a doctor, and two are like teachers. But the others, so they can, when they go to baccalaureate, or maybe they are engaged by someone, because girls they can get married like at 16, 18, something like that. So they so they decide. Okay, so most of them they don't want marriage. They're going to finish school because they know they have horizons in the future.
Despite efforts to empower and educate women, it seemed to us it is still not enough. As Hussein suggests here, there is a clear need for further support with skills and education to ensure people are at a high standard to be employed within tourism.
But the problem is that when they get the diploma from these schools and things, they need again more training and more qualifications, because most of them they need to learn so many languages also.
These reasons explain why women fill the jobs at the bottom of the tourism hierarchy, as suggested by Gibson. We witnessed throughout our experience that men tend to be employed in the front-facing roles interacting with tourists, whereas women hold supporting roles. Despite these social restraints, women still play an important role in society, which is evident by men's protective manner. At first we found this attitude unfair, as they claimed women could not do the hard work of being outside as tour guides. However, after our experience of the treks and the amount of work the tour guides put into one trip, never mind their back-to-back schedule, we now understand this mentality. This also links back to the education topic. This could be seen as a form of power over women. These development indicators show that although Morocco is clearly developing, they have low socio-economic levels, which, as suggested by Gibson, means women dependence is theoretically higher. However, our primary research indicated women play an equally important role by supporting their husbands, such as tour guides who are away for weeks, by caring for the family and agriculture.
In urban areas of Morocco, there are more reputable job opportunities becoming available for women.
Touristic transport or agencies, travel agencies and things, so they can work also. And now the managers of the travel agencies, they can trust to women than men. Organized, and they can also they are dealing with money and things, so you can trust women.
Despite many theories suggesting Moroccan culture is of a type that strongly constrains the behavior of men and women, the local perceptions on the gender roles we witnessed were not as strict as the theory suggested. So we asked, do you think men feel less empowered doing women's work, for example, serving tea and food?
Yeah, anyway, no, that's all right. No. So a man can do the work of woman, but it's all right. Yeah, if he likes that work as a cook or as anything, it's not a problem. In some places, people they look down upon CR is doing the work of the girl, but some people they don't care because it can become like a profession or a substitute.
It is obvious that gender equality within tourism is becoming more prevalent, with empowerment of women particularly obvious in rural areas. However, to conclude properly, we must answer our key questions. Firstly, we found that many locals strongly believe in and support the different roles for both genders in tourism, which differed from what many theorists suggested. However, they also recognise and support the reasons for the differences in contribution to tourism, namely their social cultural traditions. Secondly, we noticed a clear difference in the gender contribution in rural and urban areas. Whilst many academics claim rural areas are at a disadvantage, there are in fact many bottom-up projects encouraging and facilitating the empowerment of women, such as the cooperatives and associations mentioned. But women are still at a disadvantage in rural areas due to lacking education opportunities and socio-cultural restraints. In urban areas we witnessed a larger contribution in tourism for women, but it is hard to say why, as our experiences on women's empowerment were from rural areas only. Finally, for role and representation, there is clear evidence of male dominance in tourism, thus supporting many theories. However, we understand key reasons for this, such as men valuing women's importance for the family and their higher education levels. It is important to note that although women's contribution to tourism may be less, they still play an important and ever-increasing role in Moroccan society.